along, and the correspondent is thinking, I may die when we try to get this boat to shore, but if I'm going to die, why have I been allowed to come this far? And what's important to notice here about this story, a couple things that are important to notice. One is that the story does not give us an answer, right? The story is not concerned with answering this question for us. The story is concerned with evoking the question with us. If you can imagine yourself to be on this boat, you can put yourself in this character's shoes, thanks to that point of view, that close third. You can cross the divide. You can empathize with this character. If you can do that, then you can have this feeling evoked within you. This fear that it's really rage and anger. If you're going to kill me, why are you making me suffer right now? That's a question of rage. This story evokes that within us. It makes us contemplate that. And in doing so, it's challenging our common conceptions of our relationship with this world. If you're one of those people who feels that things happen for a reason, this story is saying, are you sure? How can you be sure? This story is making you think harder about that idea. An important moment in this story. They're drifting along, and they see men come running out. Page 135 and 6. They see someone on the beach. He's waving a coat. They're trying to figure out what this person is saying. It looks like he's telling us to go north. There must be a life-saving station up there. No, he thinks we're fishing. Just giving us a merry hand. See? Well, I wish I could make something out of those signals. What do you suppose he means? He don't mean anything. He's just playing. Well, if he'd just signal us, or tell us where to try the surf, or go back and wait, or tell us to go north or south, or to hell, there would be some reason in it. But look at him. He just stands there and keeps his coat revolving like a wheel. The ass, right? Revolving like a wheel. That's the karma image, by the way. The key words there, some reason in it. Here they are, looking at these people on the beach, desperate for some sort of signal. Tell us what to do. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us where to go. But there's a divide between them and these people. Right? There's a divide, and that divide keeps them from knowing, keeps them from even being able to deduce what this signal means. There's no reason in it. They can't find the reason in it. Notice how the relationship between the men in the boat and the people on the beach parallels the relationship between the men in the boat and nature. We look at this world around us and we ask ourselves, find the signals. What are the signals? What is it telling me to do? Maybe not all of us ask that question, but many people do. And this story is suggesting many things, but one of the things it's challenging us on, I think, is why do you think there should be signals out there? Why do you think there's any reason at all to the coat going around and around and around and around? But ultimately, they have to try. They have to try and get their boat to the shore. They're going to die if they just keep drifting. They have to try. And when they try, the boat breaks up. They don't all make it to shore. Well, let me put that differently. I guess they all do make it to shore, but they're not all breathing when they get there, right? And the last line. When it came night, the white waves paced to and fro in the moonlight, and the wind brought the sound of the great sea's voice to the men on shore, and they felt like they could then be interpreters. The wind brought the sound of the great sea's voice. Nature. And they felt that they could then be interpreters. They had crossed that divide. That's what fiction is attempting to do for us. Fiction is attempting to be our dinghy that takes us across the divide between people, that takes us through the breakers and allows us inside the minds of the person swinging the wheel, swinging the coat, allows us inside other people's minds so that we can see the world through their eyes. That's the great pleasure of fiction. That's the great gain of fiction. It's also the great struggle within fiction, because you have to be open to crossing that divide. And most of us would rather sit in that dinghy, drifting up the coast, than risk going through those breakers. Most of us don't want to try that because it's going to be uncomfortable. We would rather sit in our dinghy and keep on going. But fiction forces us not to. Fiction forces us across that divide. It allows us to cross that divide. And if you can open yourself up and let yourself feel what the characters are feeling, the stories we read this term will open up for you. The riddles within these stories will open up for you. You will feel things you never could have felt. And at the end of the class, after reading 19 stories, you will better understand the people around you, the world you live in. And when bad stuff happens to you in life, you'll have a better understanding of who you are outside of that bad stuff. You'll have a better understanding of your place. The Open Boat is unlike the rest of the stories we'll read this term. For some of you, that's a good thing, and for others, it'll be a challenging thing. But I think it's the right story for us to start because it's about crossing that divide. Right? Remember the boat. Remember the waves.